how do you attract investment and improve the opportunities for the Kashmiri people?
Just like in Dubai, you can invest, you can buy property. Please remember that while we want Kashmir to develop, and of course, be it the private sector or the government, we try our level best that the private sector should come and invest in Kashmir.
Can you identify specific areas or industries or sectors which you think deserve international attention and investment?
Eco-friendly tourism, which is making national parks, protecting our flora and fauna as well as our animals. Most of Kashmir and GB should be a national park, and people can come and visit. Kashmir is a niche. Kashmir is a luxury. And that is where it sits beautifully. Kashmiri sapphires are famous. Kashmiri, culture, the shawls that are made, they are luxury items. The art and our culture, the food that we make, and the way it is presented by the host to the guests is very different from other places.
Viewers, very warm welcome to another episode of V News English program Perspectives, in which we bring before you the most insightful perspectives on issues that affect the whole world. So today we are joined by one of the leading experts and a rising political figure on the Kashmiri space, that is Ms. Farzana Yaqoob. She's a former minister and a very active and rising political figure, very well versed with the pulse in Kashmir, and has been advocating and articulating the perspective and concerns and aspirations of the Kashmiri people around the world. One of the most sought after Kashmiri person around the world. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Muhammad Ali.
So tell us about what's going on in Kashmir right now. We hear a lot about three aspects. That's the security aspect, the diplomatic aspect, or the political aspect. Is this all that matters? As a young Kashmiri politician, what is it that is on the mind of the Kashmiri youth today?
So you've mentioned three aspects. I will speak of none, but only about the people of Kashmir, because that addresses all the aspects themselves. So what is a Kashmiri facing in September 2025? Let's start from now, instead of doing what we always do, which is start from the past. What the Kashmiri faces today in the Indian occupied Kashmir is lack of opportunities. Now, this lack of opportunities is not because there isn't enough economic opportunities, but this lack of opportunities for Kashmiris is by design, that Kashmiris have to be set aside. They must not get into the mainstream of whatever it is that the Indian government is creating. We hear a lot about investment coming into Kashmir, and to be honest, as a resident of Azad Jammu Kashmir, once in a blue moon, I do get impressed that, I wish we could have this level of investment, this level of international engagement. But then when I look at the depth of what does this investment mean for my people, I come to realize that it's okay. Wherever we are, alhamdulillah, we are way better than our own brethren within the Indian occupied Kashmir. Now, where is this investment design planning happening, or who is it going to facilitate? It's all the colonies that India has decided to build in the Indian occupied Kashmir. The settler colonialism, and if people don't know what that is, just look at what Israel is doing in Palestine, what is happening in Gaza, what is happening in West Bank.
Okay, I want to show you to further elaborate what you just said. That's something quite interesting. We hear a lot of parallels being drawn between Palestine and Kashmir. Is this an accurate and realistic approach? If so, how? And if not, then why not?
So the similarities are only where the actions of the government are concerned, which is what does India do in Indian occupied Kashmir. But the issue of Kashmir is very different from the issue of Palestine. So there is similarities, but I wouldn't say that both these issues are like completely 100% the same. Why? Because Palestine wants its own state. Kashmir wants to be part of Pakistan. That is the biggest difference. Kashmir has never asked to be an independent country. I know I get to hear a lot of noise, and recently this noise has increased that, so Kashmir should neither be part of India nor Pakistan, it should be independent. We, the Kashmiris who've grown up, and we have been speaking about Kashmir, we have been conducting research about Kashmir, we keep ourselves grounded in the resolutions of United Nations. In 1947, the subcontinent states had only two choices. You could either be with Pakistan or with India.
Has anything changed in the past 77 years in terms of the aspirations of Kashmir?
Yes, a lot has changed, and that is why there is you get to hear about the independent part more, because this is such a protracted issue, and Kashmir receives the least bit of international media attention.
Why?
That is because for some odd reason, India has been super successful in covering up. You see, India is master at building propaganda and narratives. It makes these beautiful movies. And so people would rather see those movies than come to the reality. Pakistan is weak on that.
That is one aspect in which I want you to objectively compare how the reality of Kashmir is projected around the world as compared to the reality of Palestine. You have Palestinians, you have Gazans, about 2.5 million Gazans, but what they are facing at the hand of the Zionist colonialism is something which the whole world knows today and is daily shared around the world on international media. How 8 million Kashmiris resident in the valley are not able to do the same in terms of being able to share and expose the reality but that they face daily at the hands of the Indian occupation.
Well, that is the level of control that the Indian government exercises. There is zero freedom. You cannot express yourself on any social media if your sentiment is against the state. If Kashmiris do that, they are instantly thrown into prisons. So, Indian state...
You mean if there's a tweet
yes,
or there's a video,
of
what
course,
will
and
happen to a Kashmiri youth in that case?
They will vanish. So, Indian occupied Kashmir has these infamous laws that, Ali, you also know, be it AFSPA or be it PSA. Now, what is the significance? Okay, so these are black laws, but what kind of powers do they give to the state, to the Indian state, to the army or the police which are in Indian occupied Kashmir? The power that they provide is that you can pick up any person, any time and throw them away anywhere for 2 years. For 2 years, you don't need to register any case. And within 2 years, where you land, what happens to you, no one can talk about it because, one, you will not be able to find out. Post 2019, thousands of Kashmiris, young children as well, were taken away from Kashmir and thrown into different jails in India. Not just within some jails in Kashmir, no. Very few Kashmiris end up in jails within Kashmir. Generally and famously, they are thrown into jails outside of Kashmir. The most infamous jail is Tihar jail in Delhi. Now, why is it famous? Not because it exercises any human rights. It is famous for its brutality. All the prisoners, Yasin Malik, remember, is also in Tihar jail. all the prisoners over there do not, especially Kashmiri. I will only talk about Kashmiri prisoners, be it Asia Andrabi, her husband, Dr. Faktu, who has been in jail even longer than Asia Andrabi, an academic, a star academic of Kashmir, has been in Indian jail for good 31 years and more. So Nelson Mandela has been surpassed when it comes to political prisoners spending decades over decades in Indian jails. You cannot get any medical relief. It is really difficult to meet your relatives. The relatives are also abused. And what would be that abuse? They're frisked and they're searched and they're made to feel so uncomfortable that it is actually a very scary process to go and meet your relatives in those jails. Maqbool Bhatt was in that jail, and when he was executed, his dead body was never handed over to the family. Now this too provides more the status of being infamous. When you are in Tihar jail and you are executed, your dead body remains in Tihar jail. The family will languish outside. Afzal Guru was also executed over there. His dead body was never provided to the family. The people that pass away other than execution, like for example Ashraf Sarai and all those people, not Ashraf Sarai, but there are some other Kashmiri leaders who passed away because they did not receive timely medical attention. They did not receive medication and they passed away. Their dead bodies were at least thankfully given to their families. Look at what they did to our beloved Ali Gilani Sahab. They snatched the dead body and conducted the funeral themselves. The family was not allowed to conduct the last, all those processes that we do so that we can grieve over passing away of our beloved people. This is what India does. So I know, people throw this at me that, oh my God, the numbers and, people are being literally slaughtered in Palestine by Israel. Yes, I accept that bloodletting is way higher in Palestine as compared to Kashmir. But the kind of life that Kashmiris have in Kashmir is nowhere less traumatized, brutalized when we compare it with Palestinians.
So I want to ask you that what is the status of the leadership of Kashmiri people in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir?
All the leadership is in the jails.
How do they interact with the people? And if they are unable to move and talk and meet their people, how do the people continue to trust them to articulate their concerns and sentiments?
All the leadership is in jails. All the political leadership is in jails. The new leadership that might be created or is in the process of, becoming leaders is also in jails. So there is no free Kashmiri leader. Mir Wais is house arrested. Ali Gilani Sahab has passed away, but APHC, all those leaders most of them are in Tihar. Like look at Shabir Shah.
Yeah, what sort of...
They're all in jails. That is something, people find it hard to believe that, something so heinous and grievous is happening in Kashmir, and still there is this impression that it's not that bad. The responsibility lies at our end. Government of Azad Jammu Kashmir, we have not been successful in sharing the depth of atrocities being committed by India in Indian occupied Kashmir. And I also place the responsibility with Pakistan. Even the Pakistani media does not show for the local viewership what is happening in Kashmir. You will never see a Kashmiri news every day. It'll be some days. It'll be some particular days, or if something really outrageous or atrocious happens, you will hear about Kashmir. But it's not a daily news. It should be a daily news. It has to start within Pakistan, within Kashmir, and then it has to come out, become an international issue. It's not a national issue at the moment. It is for the policymakers. It is a priority for the political and military leadership of Pakistan. Completely understand, and I've seen them work. Be it the Foreign Office, all of them. We've seen them work. We see that they have done exceptionally well. But at the mainstream, at the masses, at the grassroots level, most of the people don't really know. And it's the same. You pick any random Pakistani, ask them about Kashmir, they might not know. And then you pick any random foreigner and ask them about Kashmir, they might know. So then what's the difference?
That's an important point. Tell me, as a young Kashmiri politician, what are the issues that are on the mind of those Kashmiris who are living in Azad Jammu and Kashmir? What do they want? Tell us what sort of plans they have for improving their quality of life, for their future, and what are their expectations from Pakistan and the international community?
So, our youngsters have the same aspirations as well as worries as anyone around Pakistan, which is security, economic opportunities, well-being, having access to basic human rights, which is education, health, economic opportunities, be it job or business. So this is what all of them want. We have the benefit that Kashmiris are highly educated. Whenever the literacy rate is checked throughout Pakistan, and then be it Kashmir or Gilgit-Baltistan, what always clearly comes out is that Kashmiris and Gilgit-Baltistan as well are way more educated than rest of the other areas within Pakistan. So that clearly shows that we have a good skill set, very talented people.
How many universities are there in Egypt?
We have 5 universities, government universities, and then we have a few private sector universities. I speak more about the government universities and schools because that is where we want the improvement. That is where we want it to, have more people, more children coming into the government sector, so that don't give up on the government, don't give up on the institutions. And I must tell you that Kashmiris are very, very, they own these institutions. They own these schools. They will go through unbelievable lengths to improve the school facilities, to get those schools upgraded. They're personally interested. That shows that the community is super involved, and they kind of come into the decision making as well because they are asking for it. And then the government, of course, goes through the process and upgradation of schools and colleges.
But I want to ask you an important question. There's a perception that non-Kashmiris cannot invest in AJK. So how do you attract investment and improve the opportunities for the Kashmiri people if people cannot have equity in terms of investment in Kashmir?
I don't know where you heard this from, but you can of course invest in Kashmir. Just like in Dubai, you can invest, you can buy property, but you have to have partnership with a local person. It's the same in Kashmir. So if it is attractive for Dubai, it cannot be not so attractive for Kashmir. Please remember that while we want Kashmir to develop, and of course, be it the private sector or the government, we try our level best that the private sector should come and invest in Kashmir, because there are, I wouldn't say that we have a lot of investment opportunities. It's a difficult place. There is tourism. There is eco-friendly tourism more than tourism. I would want our environment protected, and work on climate change needs to be done, especially in the hilly areas, be it Gilgit-Baltistan or Azad Jammu Kashmir. Then we have minerals and we have precious stones. So there are these opportunities.
So can you identify specific areas or industries or sectors which you think deserve international attention and investment?
Okay. Number one, eco-friendly tourism, which is making national parks, protecting our flora and fauna as well as our animals. Do remember that because Indian occupied Kashmir is literally cut off and India has put up barbed wires, even our animals cannot move across the line. And so these regions have precious birds and animals which are very indigenous to these regions, so their protection is required. So number one would be ecotourism, that we make up national parks. Most of Kashmir and GB should be a national park and people can come and visit, but we have to be very careful about the number of people, the kind of permits they get. GB has done phenomenally well in this when they provide markhor hunting, super expensive permits, and that money goes back into that region, that place where these animals are being, brought up, and that region gets a lot of investment, and so people are also well off. We need to replicate this in Kashmir. The second would be the mines and minerals that we have, the precious stones. We don't have a lot of mines, but we have very precious stones and we have a few mines. That is second, that should be considered. Also education and health tourism. Kashmir is at a higher plane, and so be it TB or other such diseases where people have to go to, places where the weather is pleasant. Now, these kind of tourisms, which are very targeted and specific and very well paying, good paying, this is where Kashmir and GB are, I believe, they have stellar environment. We also have really good fruits and vegetables. They're organic. Like, we don't put any other stuff on them. This is just natural. It might not be in huge quantities. It is in small quantities, but their preservation, value addition.
Food processing.
Food processing, yes. But it is a small sector. Please do remember, Kashmir is not a place where you can have huge production units, or you're looking for this massive industrial scale. No, Kashmir is a niche. Kashmir is a luxury. And that is where it sits beautifully. Kashmiri sapphires are famous. Kashmiri, culture, the shawls that are made, they are luxury items. These are not industrial,
scale for mass production.
Easy. Yes, this is not a mass consumption product producing area. This is very niche, very luxurious, very beautiful as well. Paper mache is also a Kashmiri art. So be it our shawls, the shawls that they are famous, they pass through the rings, all of that, our paper mache, the other rugs that are made by hand. So this is beautiful work, and this shows, so our art and our culture, the food that we make and the way it is presented by the host to the guests is very different from other places. The guest will not get up to bring their food. Neither, even if it is placed in front of them, they will not put it in their plates themselves. No, the host will put the food in the guest's plate. And generally, we don't put platters for just one person, 3 to 4 persons each together. So the rice is placed first, and then the other items, and we have multiple dishes. All our culture shows the beauty of Kashmir and Kashmiris, how educated and skillful they are. We take our time in making food, in our embroidery, and it is the best. So people hardly know about our culture. They've heard of Vazwan, but they will never tasted. It takes a lot of time, and warm regions cannot really have Vazwan because it's warm food. You see, we're people of cold areas. We eat warm food when we're over there. It'll be difficult to have it over here.
Okay, my last question. Recently, there have been some reports that India has attempted to covertly destabilize the politics of Azad Kashmir. Is there some truth in such news? And if so, what do you think is Indian plans, and how can they be overcome?
Yes, so recently we see social media sharing a document, and Kashmir government has come out 2 days ago. There was a press conference where all the political parties were part of that press conference, and Prime Minister himself of Azad Jammu Kashmir was also there, and everyone condemned it. And they also said that such activities are not welcome, and these are illegal activities. But to say that this is a recent
Can you explain
phenomenon,
the nature of this
yes, I
activity?
will. So this is not a recent phenomena. This has actually been going on for a very long time, but it has strengthened, and the investment in having illegal activities in Kashmir has increased. Now, what is happening is that post COVID and post 5th August 2019, people felt very desperate about what India had done to Indian occupied Kashmir. So overall, there was this sense of deprivation, of desperation, that I wish I can do something about it. At the same time, Pakistan had a particular party win elections in 2018, and they had very interesting narratives, which is, abusing and calling names, bad names to all the other politicians. This added to what investment was coming into Kashmir, and I must tell you, it is in Gilgit-Baltistan as well. The Indian investment of creating this feud, this discontentment of the masses. We have developmental issues. I don't say that there is no mistake or it is perfectly fine and we're like the best of the best. No, we have administrative issues, but these are local governance issues. None of these issues is new, or is it worse than ever before. Now, if there was no such mass level of protests before 2019, so it is very odd that all of a sudden these protests seem to be increasing post 2019 in Azad Jammu Kashmir. We have never had this kind of narrative in Azad Jammu Kashmir. We have never had this level of mass protests against the government. So the government is also responsible because their decisions were delayed. They did not really address issues on timely basis, which led to a coming together of Indian investment and people who were all really not satisfied with the way the government was functioning within Azad Jammu and Kashmir. At that time, and remember Tahrir Square 2012, Egypt, why did people come out? Social media. But what was it about social media at that time that people protested against the government and they changed their governments? It was increase in price of bread, right? Flour got expensive. It's the same that happened in Kashmir. It's inflation and the price of bread had increased. Now, when the basic necessities of life become expensive, which is food and energy, electricity, they became super expensive. What was that going to do? There was going to be, a demand that please, we need these prices to be decreased. It was a terrible time. People, the flour was getting super expensive and it wasn't easily available as well. So people were suffering a lot. So I can't say that, this all of this movement is manufactured. That would be very unfair to the people. But India has benefited from this movement. So people came together and most of this movement was then kind of hijacked by the traders. The traders were suffering because the purchasing power wasn't there, and so there was no profiteering. The business was suffering. And so the traders came up and they led this movement, which is called Joint Action Committee. Some of the issues that they say are right. We don't say that all of it is wrong. But the problem that we as Kashmiris and the government of Kashmir has is when they abuse Pakistan, when they abuse Kashmir, the Kashmir issue and our military. When they say anything that is against the state and they say such things that they should be removed, that our forces should be removed, or they come up with any narrative which is anti-state, we have a problem. We find it illegal. We find it difficult to accept. There is freedom of speech in Kashmir. But that does not allow you to abuse all the organizations which are very much there to address your issues. There can be negotiation, there can be protests. There is freedom of assembly. There is freedom for politics. And there have been negotiations. The government has been actively listening and meeting to the protesters. And you've seen what that resulted in, that there were massive protests. And so the electricity tariff was decreased. Now it seems like, before that, AJK government did not offer anything. AJK government actually offered them that the taxes will be removed from the bill. Please pay only the actual cost of electricity, to which these people did not accept it. And so it came down to these massive protests. People all came out. Of course, electricity is expensive. Of course, people will come out. Who doesn't want electricity to be cheap? But then look at it. It was decided, and Pakistan facilitated this because we would require extra funds for us to subsidize electricity. And so Pakistan did accept this requirement, and they gave additional funds to the government of Azad Jammu Kashmir. And so electricity is very cheap. Now, what has that done? There is excessive use of the electricity, and we are unable to now maintain the electricity department of Kashmir. What does that mean? Now, people are not really paying bills. People in Kashmir and in Pakistan as well, they generally don't pay bills. It's really difficult, especially in the far-flung areas. Now, people are very poor as well. So this has always been an uphill task anyways to get bills from them. And then where does that money go? Does it go into people's politicians' pockets? No. That money goes into buying transformers, into maintenance of the electricity grid. The infrastructure. And now here's the problem. The government of Azad Jammu Kashmir says that, okay, fine, this is fabulous.
So basically this is securitization or politicization of bad governance.
Yes,
which is a
it is.
universal issue.
And yes,
but
and
agenda,
we have to accept that the governance is bad.
And the agenda transcends
Yes,
genuine
it does.
concern and
Yes.
lawful and responsible redressal.
Yes, and that is why I don't give blanket statement that
how
all
do
of
you
them are bad, because these are
as a
genuine
politician,
concerns.
You draw the line. Which parties see through this plan that the grievance and public sentiment is exploited to weaken the trust of Kashmiris in the structure of the state?
When you say which parties, you mean political parties?
Yes, political parties. What's their stance? I mean, all the mainstream parties.
Throughout all the political parties which are present in the Assembly of Azad Jammu Kashmir have condemned the illegal activities. We have no issues with people coming up and asking
That's
or
their
demanding.
political right.
They have their right. This
That's
is their
a human
right.
right, yeah.
It is a human right. But
how do where do you draw the line where a protest becomes an anti-state activity?
Okay, so when their protests start sloganeering anti-Pakistan, that हम पार से भी आज़ादी लेंगे तो आर से भी आज़ादी लेंगे, which generally means कि इंडिया से भी आज़ादी चाहिए तो पाकिस्तान से भी आज़ादी चाहिए. We have a problem with that. What are you saying? Like, who is asking you to say this? The politicians, if this was the sentiment, most probably the politicians would have utilized it. We want to win our elections, don't we? We have never needed such sloganeering. And then a really bad incident took place, that when you enter Azad Jammu Kashmir through the bridge of Kohala, it's like Kashmir banega Pakistan. Someone removed Pakistan from there. This is something that we Kashmiris are not used to. We are very peaceful people. We have been fighting. We are very clear about our cause. We have no confusion about our cause. What this is doing is creating confusion which actually does not exist. We are not confused people. We know what we want. We know what we want from the international community. We want India to leave, to let us free, to let us breathe. We want Indian occupied Kashmir to be freed. We want our plebiscite. We want our people to choose between India and Pakistan. We as Kashmiris living in Azad Jammu Kashmir believe that we will win, that our Kashmiris will unanimously vote for Pakistan. We have complete faith and trust in this outcome, and that is why we always say we want our plebiscite. But this kind of local altercations is trying to present as if no, this is not what we want, and that is very unfair for all of us, for the actual silent masses who have been working, who have been trying our level best to get rid of India. What does this speak about us? So all those people who misuse these protests for their own means must be condemned and must be apprehended. Even as politicians, as parliamentarians, we have questioned our government that why aren't these people being apprehended? If what is being said that RAW is, investing money, investigate and catch these people. Get them out of the system, catch those people. But we can't have everyone saying that, all of them are people who are getting money from India. That would be very unfair.
Mr. Farzana, Yaqoob, thank you so much for your time and sharing your very insightful and candid views and helping our viewers better understand the realities of Kashmir today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Viewers, thank you so much for watching us, and hopefully you will find such insightful discourse in future episodes as well. So don't forget to share your views and feedback. Thank you for joining us.